Cloud Bethune. She lived 1875 to 1955. She's a Christian educator. Let me read about her first before I... Oh yeah, this is cool about her. She is an alumni of Moody Bible College. By the way, that's where what I was doing when I was in Chicago, when I got to go visit your precious camp there, GMS. I was spending some time at Moody. So here's an alumni spotlight from Moody Bible Institute on Mary McLeod Bethune. And you guys, if you want to know this woman's importance, just to get an idea, type in Bethune. Just type in that last name and type in school after it. And just look at how many schools are named after her. There's a couple key ones, but just so many, because this woman was an educator. This woman had some serious class, some serious know-how, and very, very, very impressive. Let's read about her. Born on July 10th, 1875 in Maysville, South Carolina. Mary McLeod Bethune was a child of former slaves, just like our first person we talked about. Mary was an educator, civil rights activist, and political advisor to multiple U.S. presidents. Imagine going from the daughter of a former slave to being an advisor to a U.S. president. Became one of the most prominent African Americans of early 20th century America. Convinced education was key to narrowing the racial divide for people of color, Mary attended a one-room mission school in Maysville, South Carolina for African American children. She later attended and graduated from Dwight Moody's Institute for Home and Foreign Missions in Chicago, now Moody Bible Institute. Oh, of course it's called Whitehall. Look at that. But it looks like oh wow, there she is with some other ladies. I wonder who's who in that picture. Oh, it looks like that's the class she's teaching. That's what it looks like. Mary founded a school for African American students in 1904, which later became Bethune-Cookman University. Despite the difficult surrounding environment, Bethune's School for Young Girls will become a prominent school to teach both academic and practical skills to black girls. The school taught girls domestic science. The school taught girls domestic science courses, that's home ec, along with business and liberal arts courses. Because of her prominence, she served as an advisor to Presidents Franklin D. Roosevelt and Harry S. Truman. In 1973, she was inducted into the National Women's Hall of Fame and continues to inspire many to this day. Writing her last will and testament, she invoked Jesus' words from the Sermon on the Mount, "Love thy neighbor," a precept which could transform the world if it were universally practiced. Notice that, preaching a sermon to the very end. She preached a sermon with her life. Now, Bethune is well known in sort of secular academic, world, but what they do is they often focus on her as an educator, which is fair enough, but a lot of times they don't talk about how her faith drove her. And here was a presentation on her by a scholar, and I thought this was interesting. Looks like she presented a paper. I've actually, is that the same room I spoke in? No, I've been in that room. I have been in that room. I know exactly where that is. That's cool. That's where G-Con and me and a Cherry took some of the pictures we took before we went out and talked to GMS. Anyways, so here's a part I wanted to read. Mary McLeod came to Moody Bible Institute in 1894 to complete a long and carefully planned training for overseas missions in Africa. She was 19 and studying at Moody when her application to a mission board was denied. Same story. Confident in her calling and sense of God's leading, Bethune was stunned to learn that she would not be appointed to serve in missions. Was it because of her race? And listen to this letter that she wrote. This is good. I had not been aware of the fact that you had not been sending out colored missionaries to Africa, or I would have not attempted to be an exception to your rule. She knew how to write. It seems to me that if the Lord Jesus Christ were here on earth in person and wanted someone to go on an errand for him, he would not discuss the covering he has placed upon the bodies of his blood-bought people to protect the flesh he has made. That is a burn. Guys, did you read this? This is what I'm... Who has the moral high ground in these discussions? Obviously, there's no saintly group of people, but the Christ-likeness of the black Christians we discuss when we talk about this, they've got, 9 times out of 10 they've got the moral high ground. I mean, look at this burn. Seems to me that who could argue with this logic? It seemed to me that if the Lord Jesus Christ were here on earth in person and wanted someone to go on an errand for him, see, I like how, oh man, he would not discuss the covering he has placed upon the bodies of his blood-bought people to protect the flesh he has made. That's right. And there's some other stuff you can learn about her, Christianity.com, but I'm actually not going to read that article. But born in South Carolina, educated at Moody Bible Institute, established a school for children of poor black workers in Florida, she later wrote, "I had faith in a loving God and a desire to serve. The motto she drilled into her students was, enter to learn and depart to serve." This man, these folks. Mary acted as advisor to several presidents and won numerous awards for achievements as an educator.
You're not listening to Street Apologist.